Our final design principle is color. Color is a powerful design tool, so it has to be used carefully. You should be strategic with your use of color. It's very easy to draw focus to an element, but it's just as easy to create distraction. Keep in mind that color carries strong emotional connotations. So red, yellow, and orange are often seen as warning colors. So try and reserve them for that use. Green is commonly used as a go state and can also be viewed as calm. Light blue is seen as friendly and inviting, whereas darker blue can be seen as calm and stable, and so on. You get the idea. An easy way to build a color scheme to start is to start with a monochromatic palette. And a monochromatic palette is built out of just one color and variations of that color. So you might choose, go to like a color wheel and choose your base color. In this case, we've chosen light blue, and you can add variation by choosing darker and lighter versions of the color, maybe throwing in a black and a gray. You've got your palette. If you want to add some interest, say you want to add a button to your layout, you can try an analogous color palette. And you can do so by just going one color over on the color wheel. So here we've chosen green as our kind of accent color. If you want to add even more interest, like our usage of the call to action, you might consider using a complementary color, which is usually 2 or 3 spots over on the color wheel. And for even more interest, you can check out complementary colors, which sit on the opposite end of the color wheel from your primary color. Sometimes using too strong hued colors near each other can cause issues with contrast. You can fix that by making your background color lighter and more subdued by maybe adding some white to it. This will help your foreground elements stand out some more. If your foreground element is bright, like a yellow, you can try and go the opposite direction with a darker color in the background and by adding some black to it. You can pick more neutral colors by targeting colors closer to the center of your color wheel. So some more tips on color. Don't rely on color to relay information. People perceive color differently based on shifting light conditions. There are cultural views of color may be different in different regions. And as many as 8% of males are colorblind. To start designing for color, actually start with black and white first. If your interface doesn't work in black and white, it won't work in color. And it's a good place to check for contrast. Actually, most of the web team's projects start as low fidelity black and white wireframes, and then we build on top of that once we're happy with the design. Once your layout starts, it's starting to feel good, then you can start adding color back in carefully, starting with the most important elements first. You might find that adding just 1 or 2 colors is all you need. If you want to learn more about color or to get some inspiration, I've got 2 great sites for you to check out. The first is Adobe Color. It has tons of user-generated color palettes for you to play with. And it's cool tools too. You can upload your color, and then it'll help you build that monochromatic or the analogous or the split complementary palette for you. Another cool site is dribble.com. It's dribble.com. And it's a really cool resource where people post screenshots of some of the cool interfaces that they're working on. So here's our final screen. We've used color to tone down some of the non-critical data elements. We've reserved red for alarm states, but we've made sure to pair it with secondary indicators. And we've made the foreground element stand out more by toning down the background and making it grayer and more neutral. So we started off with an HMI that was kind of cluttered and ugly, and then reduced the cognitive load by removing visual clutter and simplifying the graphics. Then we applied a grid and aligned our elements. And then we added icons to our text, labeled our equipment, and introduced an alarm that used plain English, and then made everything more consistent. Then we started working on the visual hierarchy by improving contrast, and then we adjusted our size, proximity, and white space. And then finally, we finished up by using color to better define our important and less important elements.